Scholomance Academy has been out for about a month. We're about to see our second wave of nerfs. So let's go ahead and talk about these new nerfs in less than 5 minutes.
It wasn't me!
So for nerf number 1 and 2, we have Secret Passage and Cabal Acolyte. So these are both classes that have been ruling the meta as of right now. I think that Rogue and Priest are definitely not necessarily in a tier 1, because people are talking about how this is the most balanced meta ever. And Vicious Syndicate as of today actually just posted an article saying that there's no deck in tier 1, but all of the good decks that we've been seeing are tier 2. So that's a pretty interesting thought. So check out that article. The link will be in the description below. But in any case, the Secret Passage nerf to 4 is definitely going to limit it to some degree, but I don't think it's going to overall kill the card, which is something I really do like about this design philosophy with these new set of cards. We're not necessarily trying to kill them to the point where they're unplayable, but we're just trying to take them a step back. So I like the direction of the Secret Passage. The Cabal Acolyte nerf is also something that I'm happy to see, because Priest as a whole is not really, I mean, obviously you guys know that I don't like Priest. But in any case, the biggest thing about this card is that not only was it, I'm going to steal a minion because Wave of Apathy is a really good combo with this, suddenly the 2/6 taunt is a really big deal. So I kind of like how they're making this, they're scaling this back a little bit, so that way the Wave of Apathy doesn't completely obliterate your chances of dealing with this card. Because when this combo happened, you needed 6 minions on the field in order to deal with the Cabal Acolyte if you didn't have any way of buffing the board or dealing damage. So I like that this kind of brings it down a little bit in that regard. But overall, Priest is still really powerful. I don't think this is going to take it down too much. And same thing with Rogue with Secret Passage. I think that both classes are going to see play, but they're just going to be knocked down a peg, so that way some other classes can breathe. Speaking of breathing, Shaman is actually going to get a little bit of help with this second wave of buffs that we've seen. This is not something that is going to be too common in my opinion, but I really like the direction that they're going with trying to fix some of these cards. So we have Totem Goliath and Archwitch Willow as the new cards that are receiving buffs. So the Totem Goliath is the biggest thing that I want to point out, because as much as I want Shaman to have a deck that's viable, I still don't think that this is going to be the greatest way of going about it. And that's only because Totem Shaman as a whole is a very high roll snowball-y deck that either does extremely well or really bad. So if the meta doesn't adapt, or if it doesn't adapt to the meta in a proper way, then it's just not gonna make that big of a difference. However, the overload is the biggest thing that I'm excited to see, because the overload is no longer limiting you from being able to curve 2 of these out in 2 turns and then setting up a whole bunch of totems. So maybe this can give way to Totem Shaman, but I'm not too hopeful for the archetype in general. I think that Shaman is going to be okay, but it's still not going to be top tier. As the same thing kind of goes to the Archwitch Willow, there's not really a lot of reasons to cheat big demons right now, because right now small demons are where it's at. The small demons have so many ways of just stealing the game and just completely high rolling things without any mercy, and this just doesn't help that kind of win con in any way. You have the enhanced Dreadlord, which is okay, but there's really not a lot of other demons that are really that good. We just don't have a lot of demons in order to make this that useful. So maybe down the road, this is going to be like a grumble sleeper card, to where it'll be really good down the line, but right now it just needs time to be bad. But I'm not too excited about this card, but I like the direction that they're going in order to make these cards somewhat playable and not just oh man, we can never play these cards. At least now they have a chance. Last and certainly not least, I literally just made a video about this. Everyone's been making videos about that. It's everyone's favorite demon, Darkglare. He's finally getting a nerf. I shouldn't say finally, because he really wasn't problematic until his most recent meta. But in any case, I like the direction that they're going with this card. Again, I'm really happy with the direction of all of these nerfs, because they're not trying to kill these cards. They're just trying to take them down a peg in order to make things a little bit more balanced. But in any case, Darkglare is now becoming a 2-mana 2/3 and only refreshes for 1 mana crystal. That is absolutely huge, by the way. But Darkglare being taken down a peg is definitely huge, because now we're not going to have these really vast swing turns as early as turn 3, where in Wild you can play potentially 3 giants as early as turn 3, turn 4. I think that's with a perfect hand situation, but the fact that can happen is absolutely crazy. In Standard, you could still do some pretty wacky things, but now there's potential for Ebon Lock to be really good, the Warlock Prime. But in any case, I think that Darkglare is still going to be run. It's probably still going to be 2-ofs, and Pain Zoo could still be a thing in Wild. But now that it's only 2 mana, it's really hard to get off the really vast chain that you need in order to make this card good. So hopefully this will take it down a little bit. Also, it being a 2/3, it makes it a little bit easier to kill. 4 is kind of a threshold for a lot of decks that can't deal more than 3 damage at a time. So in that regard, I think it's also pretty good, but it doesn't absolutely kill the card, which is, again, I have to keep saying this. The reason why I love these nerfs is because they're not killing the cards. And there you have it, guys. There are all the buffs and all the nerfs that are going to be coming out, hopefully, on September 8th. I will go ahead and put the patch notes in the description so you guys can check them out in full detail. Darkglare and Secret Passage are still pretty OP, so if you guys think that they're still somewhat worrisome, feel free to let me know what you're specifically worried about in the comments, and I'd love to have a conversation with you guys. Feel free to like and subscribe to the video if you guys want more content. We're going to be coming out with weekly videos as things go on. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the content. We'll see you next time.